Stop paying tithes to your pastors. This video goes out to any pastor that shepherds a local church. You know as well as I know that tithing is not biblical when it comes to America. America is not the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan is Israel today, and that's where the tithes were to go during that time. When you go back and read the 5 books of Moses, 3 times a year, according to Exodus 23 and verse 17, the men were to go and travel to Jerusalem. They were to bring food from the earth. From the earth. You hear me? They were to tithe from the earth. They were to provide for the Levites because the Levites did not have no inheritance. They were responsible for the tabernacle as well as the congregation, as well as the strangers that they were to provide food for. The strangers that came out of Egypt. A lot of the Egyptians did not stay in Egypt. You know this. A lot of them came with the children of Israel, so they're known as strangers because they're not from the seed of Abraham. Then he said, remember the fatherless and the widows, those who did not have a provider now. So they were to provide food for them, and this was done every 3rd year. So it was 3 times a year. And when you read the Torah, you're going to realize that there's 4 types of tithes, and it was always talking about food. It was not talking about money. The only time money is mentioned when it comes to the men that had herbs and sheep. If they weren't able to travel all the way to Jerusalem, then he commanded them. He said, you know what, don't put a burden on yourself when it comes to traveling with all those animals. Just exchange the animals into money. But when you get to Jerusalem, make sure you buy food, because that's the purpose of them going, so they can fellowship and provide food for the poor. He said, there will always be poor people in the land where I am sending you. Therefore I command you, saying, thou shalt put thy hand wide unto thy brother, and to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land. Does it sound like he's talking to America? No, he's talking about the land of Canaan. So you must teach the truth to your congregation. Stop preying on the weak and vulnerable. Judgment begins in the house of I Am.